Hi Jim, I thought I'd make a quick video, show you how this works to print something with the Bambu. I already did this once, but I'll just delete that. So you can just import, and you can actually have a project set up that you've already configured multiple plates for whatever that you want to do. In this case, we have an STL file, so we just have the raw file. I've unzipped the file, the zip file that you linked me to. Two files there. We can do them both at the same time if you wanted to on the play, but we'll just do one. So this program is called a slicer. This is the proprietary slicer that Bambu Labs, the maker of this printer, provides. But there are open source ones that are considered excellent as well. What the slicer does is just that. It goes layer by layer, and it converts this 3D image format into a set of commands, G-code they call it. G-code is like move left, move right, extrude this much filament, lift the head up. So this program goes from that, and it just goes through and scans it. It's very, very rich in functionality. You can spend a lot of time figuring out all the bells and whistles. But generally, you can pick profiles. So 0.2 millimeters kind of standard for like the normal nozzle size is 0.4 millimeter. And the layer width that you use with that, and I don't want the copy because I think I hacked that at some point in time. Let's just take the raw one. So this has a set of profiles and a set of parameters. The most important ones are like the layer height. Another important one that you might want to play with on a per print basis is the strength or the infill. Normally all these things will be hollow by default. How much not hollow is the infill density. Going all the way up to 100%. Generally 30% is about as high as you ever need to go. Something like this, 15% will be plenty. The other things you might worry about, if you had any cantilever stuff, you'd have something like support. And you could enable support, and what it'll do is it'll, like say this came out and hung way over like this, you can't just print in midair that far. So it'll print a little support structure to hold it up that you then just break off. So you have to play with that frequently, the infill. The rest of it just kind of fine-tuning stuff. Oh, if you really want strong stuff, you can make, it's how many walls on the outside perimeter of the shell. This buys you a lot more strength than actually higher infill does, almost all the strength's in the shell itself. So I'm just going to bump that up to 4, and then I'm going to slice it. And here's slicing. You can take this little slider over and you'll see how it'll print layer by layer. So we go up, it'll print the first layer, it's solid, and then there's our infill pattern. You can pick all kinds of different, grid or, I don't know, honeycomb, and there are advantages and disadvantages to each type of infill. I normally don't mess with that. I don't usually mess with anything other than infill density and number of patterns of support or adhesion. I guess I should talk about adhesion. If you don't have a lot of surface area with the plate, really tall, skinny thing, that won't stick very well. So you can pick adhesion. Others, where is it? Bed adhesion. So it's auto. So it's smart enough to add it if you need it. But if you just say, hey, I want it, and we slice it again, you'll see this time we'll put a little bit of. Let's scroll all the way up here. See it better. You put a little bit thing around it, make it a bigger area. How far? Let's say you want to just exaggerate it. Slice plate. So yeah, play with the adhesion. If I got a funny thing that doesn't have a lot of surface area, I play with support, and of course I pick the profile I want for quality. Normally I just leave this on automatic, and sometimes it doesn't think it needs it, and it really does. So it's worth always looking at it rather than this auto. You can put it on auto, but always just check and make sure you need it. So then after I slice it, all you got to do at this point in time is print it. But right now I have one. I already started your printer on this. We can actually monitor the progress of it real time. And I'm doing a time lapse of it that I'll include in this email when I send it to you. This is a very low rep rate camera. I have another camera I haven't gotten around to put on it, but in fact we might have an adhesion problem here. It doesn't look. Oh, it's still doing bed leveling. So the first thing it does, go through and if there's any unevenness in the bed, or if it's tilted or what have you, it goes in and senses, probes down every place on the bed and corrects for that when it does the actual print. So the print I did a few minutes ago is still during the bed leveling. I wanted to mention too, you frequently ask me about the cost of the filament. This is 9 grams of filament. A kilogram is about $15. So do the math there. I think it's like maybe less than a quarter for sure, 20 cents, something like that. I just don't worry about the cost of filament. For all intents and purposes, it's free. I'll send you the time lapse when it gets there, and then if you have any questions, I'll be glad to give you the 10,000 foot view of all these, but there's bazillions of YouTube tutorials on any specific model that you might choose. If you're serious about it, this guy is like really, the Bambu Labs, PS1 or the Carbon have really just kind of taken over the whole market. Everybody's raving about it. They just got all kinds of features that that you never knew existed until you got one. So I would highly recommend that. It's $600 or $700 for the middle of the line. Top of the line is like $1,200. You can get a hobbyist version that I had for years and loved for $200 if you just want to dip your toe into it. In fact, I got one you can play with if you want that's just sitting around. I use it to print stuff that I have to print really, really slow anyway. But if you want to play with it, I'd be glad to have you do it.